All right, let's go to Mike Gonzalez, senior fellow Heritage. And, okay, I'm trying to understand this level of radicalism.
It's very clear. The Black Futures Lab, which is one of many, many ventures that Alicia Garza has. Alicia Garza sits atop a vast revolutionary empire with chapters all over the country and all over the world, Canada, Europe, etc. So this one venture of hers, Black Futures Lab, is a fiscally sponsored project of the Chinese Progressive Association of San Francisco. There are many Chinese Progressive Associations around the country. There's one in Boston, one in New York. This one in San Francisco has been a promoter of the People's Republic of China from the very beginning. And it continues to this day. For example, in May this year, the CPA in San Francisco, along with other institutions in the CPA in Boston, signed a letter supporting the Biden campaign, saying they want Biden to win, but warning the Biden campaign to end China bashing, and adding, quote, fanning anti-China sentiment will also come at a cost at the ballot box. So in many other ways, this CPA in San Francisco has gone to bat. Now, it should not be surprising that there would be the fiscally sponsored project of Black Futures Lab, because Alicia Garza, as you said, and Patrisse Cullors and Opal Tometi don't hide their Marxism. It's funny because it is the media that tries to hide their Marxism. They themselves, when they speak, are quite open about it. They say they're revolutionaries. Patrisse Cullors herself trained at the community, at the Labor Community Strategy Center, run by Eric Mann, a former member of the Weather Underground. So there are many connections like this, Sean.
Well, let me go to Leo Terrell. I mean, I'm listening to this, and I know that people don't make the distinction that I make between the group Black Lives Matter and the chants that I've mentioned, and the things that have been said in interviews, and people that were, then there were a lot of peaceful protesters that chant Black Lives Matter, but not part of the group. I make a distinction. Maybe some others do not, but I think it's only fair. But the group itself, when you read this, what are your thoughts, and what are the dangers here? Because they're fairly obvious to me.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this needs to be understood. I don't support the group, the Black Lives Matter group, and I think all Black Lives Matter. But when you play that audio clip, she says she speaks for a lot of Black Americans. And this distinction, the American public cannot see that distinction. And they're pouring in corporate dollars, the NBA, all these professional sports, out of guilt that, hey, we need to contribute to Black Lives Matter. And these Marxists who are anti-American, anti-God, anti-American institution are dangerous, and they're being normalized by the media because the media won't discuss what Mike just discussed, what you just played. And I'm telling you, we have a concurrent issue here. We got to elect the president, and we got to get the word out that these are Marxist individuals who want to destroy every value that we stand for as Americans.
Well, I think it's a no-brainer, but I mean, obviously this group has sway, this level of radicalism. I mean, you know, we see this in this whole debate. Well, you're either going to do what we want. And by the way, we laid out the case, the real precedent. It's 29 times that presidents have nominated Supreme Court justices in their final year of a term. And it has everything to do, 17 of 19, when it's the same party in the White House and in the Senate. They've been confirmed. Only 2 out of 10 were not confirmed, or were confirmed when it was one party in the presidency, one party in the Senate. Mike Gonzalez.
Yeah, again, the media will not say that, just like the media will not report anything about Black Lives Matter. And again, I want to repeat what you and Leo just said. Everybody adheres to the sentiment that Black Lives Matter. It is the organizations, and this is what people do not make this distinction because the media is not reporting on this. The organizations founded by Patrisse Cullors, by Alicia Garza, and by Opal Tometi are Marxist organizations. By the way, I don't know if I'm breaking some news here, but I don't know if you know, this weekend, they have scrubbed all Marxist languages from their websites, from the websites of different BLM organizations. So, for example, the movement for Black Lives, which had very explicit anti-capitalist language, it's no longer there. Luckily, a lot of us have screen captures. The same thing with the Black Lives Matter global movement, global network, which had language that said it was against the family. against the patriarchal family. That language is now also...
Well, that speaks volumes. Whenever they start scrubbing stuff, it usually means trouble, right?
Right.
But you're saying there's a real plot to change America. Now, I would argue stacking the Supreme Court, ending the filibuster, threatening to impeach a president and an attorney general, throwing a temper tantrum because you don't like the fact that Donald Trump won the election and is making a Supreme Court appointment. That's wanting to change America pretty drastically and radically and dangerously, in my view.
Yeah, the reason I named my book The Plot to Change America is not because there are people meeting on Thursday nights in Cambridge, Massachusetts, or in Madison, Wisconsin. It is because they're all reading the same thing. They all want to they divide the country into groups, fill the members of these groups with grievances. So these grievances will act as catalysts to change the country and make it into a model that America was never intended to be. That's why I call my book The Plot to Change America. And I go through how this is done. I had no idea that the summer of 2020 was going to happen and that we were going to see the consequences play out in our streets.